What's up, insiders? Brian Reese here, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. Welcome to today's training, by the way, and super important topic today. We're talking about something that affects almost every veteran we encounter to different degrees. I guess it just kind of depends on where you're at on the spectrum, and there's lots of factors that go into this discussion of chronic pain syndrome. Okay, it's also sometimes referred to as, you maybe heard things like a VA lifestyle impact claim. That's something that we've discussed before as well. It all means the same thing, by the way. Okay, it all means the same thing. So if you've ever heard things like chronic pain syndrome, somatic symptom disorder, lifestyle impact claim, okay, those are all the same things. Folks dialing in from around the world, that's what's so cool about technology is we can engage together live and in community, which I think is so important. It's the only way, guys, that we can really get raw, real, and vulnerable and share the things that are really going on in our lives, okay? We got Kevin on, we got John on, David. Let me know where you're calling in from too, guys. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, Andrew, by the way, huge veteran advocate, very involved with the VFW, especially here in Texas. Thank you, Andrew, by the way, for connecting me with the Service Dogs Foundation. Really, really cool story. We're going to be able to connect one of our members who unfortunately is losing his service dog to illness. We're actually going to pay for the service dog for him, a new one, all the training. It's about a year-long process, and so we're getting that set up right now. Okay, veteran service dog. So thank you for making that connection and for everything that you do for veterans. Okay, associated with the VFW. Inside of our mastermind, and by the way, I know I say the word guys a lot. I'm referring to everybody, right? Men, women, anybody who wore the uniform, who served our country, who's now a veteran. I'm speaking to you, okay? And sometimes, at least what we're learning is our female veterans are an importantly underserved part of the military. And unfortunately, as we've learned, they kind of get lost in the VA system, and there's lots of issues that aren't being communicated to y'all as female veterans. And so you're welcome here. Female veterans, you are welcome here at VA Claims Insider, and we love hearing your stories, right? As painful as they are sometimes, you help us get better, you inspire us to be better, okay? So thank you to all of our female veterans dialing in from around the world, and especially our military spouses as well, and anybody associated with a veteran. Good Lord, I mean, I know this, that I'll tell you that the people who bear the brunt of our issues as veterans are typically our spouses and our kids, right? Maybe bosses and coworkers too, but my hat's off to you guys for dealing with us, for trying to understand us, for sticking with us through tough times. I really appreciate that. Okay, so anybody who's a spouse or associated with a veteran who helps them day to day, thank you to you. As we get started, but welcome again, Brian Reese here, Air Force Service Disabled Vet, founder of VA Claims Insider. Guys, we're an educational content hub and resource center for veterans. We share expert level resources, okay, tips, strategies, lessons learned on our website, across YouTube. We go live on Facebook. Goodness, I think we're going live like every day of the week, me or a team member on some channel across Facebook. And the other big value add that we have in our membership programs for veterans, okay, is we connect you with vetted independent medical providers in our referral network who can provide disability benefit questionnaire reviews, DBQ reviews, and competent and credible medical nexus letters. Okay, sometimes called an independent medical opinion, a medical nexus opinion, a medical opinion, whatever you want to call it. But it's essentially a doctor's opinion, a healthcare professional who's qualified by law to provide this type of advisory opinion as to the likelihood that a disability was due to your service. Okay, so if you've ever been denied service connection in the past, Maybe you've been out of the service for a long time and you're worried about having a disability come back as not service connected. Okay, you may want to think about getting a nexus letter from a qualified independent medical provider. Okay, now you can get DBQs and nexus letters lots of places. You could ask your own providers if they'll do them. You could try to ask a VA doctor to do them. Good luck with that. Or you can try to pay other companies. I can tell you, I highly doubt you're going to find anybody who provides the level of service that our team provides at the rates that they provide it at. Okay, I challenge you to go find somebody who will do the service for less than what we provide for vets. Okay, how are we able to get you those rates? Volume discounts. Because of our membership programs, guys, I'm able to negotiate an unbelievable rate for you guys because of the amount of volume we provide to our providers. Okay, where are my Costco members? I love Costco, right? Volume discounts. It's the same concept. You're a member, you get discounts. Same thing. Okay, that's what we do at VA Claims Insider. And guys, it is literally the highest honor of my life to serve you. And I want to talk about that just for a second before we get started. Hopefully this helps for you guys. I want to talk about why I even founded this company. Okay, why did you need to start a VA Claims Insider? Okay, guys, I'm a fairly smart guy. Okay, U.S. Air Force Academy graduate. Played Division I hockey there. It was a blessing. I was able to finish an MBA. Had a combat deployment, left the service as a captain in 2012. And I'll tell you, there were some things that really stuck out for me in this process. The first one was I didn't even know what the Department of Veterans Affairs was until I was in something called TAPS. Which is, I think it's now a DoD mandate, but it stands for the Transition Assistance, whatever, right? And it was basically a transition assistance program to help active duty troops as they're taking off the uniform to get prepared for civilian life. Yeah, good luck with that, right? Total fail job on that, by the way. But at TAPS was the first time that I had ever even heard of an organization called the Department of Veterans Affairs. And I thought to myself, how crazy. I'm going to be out of uniform in less than a week. And this is the first time somebody's telling me, as I'm about to take off the uniform, oh, by the way, there's this thing called the black hole, which is the VA that provides benefits for veterans. I don't know if you'll be eligible or not. I don't know if you're qualified or not, but all you need to do is talk to this guy. They'll help you do blah, 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 blah. And then if you qualify, you'll get something. It was awful, like a 200 slide click through. It was a total joke. The person who came and spoke to us had no idea what they were talking about, as I learned in the future. And a whole bunch of people in the class were pissed off, including myself, right? Because we still had no idea what this thing was or what to do. So that started this journey for me on going, if I'm a pretty smart guy about to take off the uniform, what is this like for everybody else? And oh my Lord, what is this like for people who left the service 10 years ago? 20 years ago, 40 years ago, who had zero help. You had no briefings, right? So that started this journey of me going, I'm going to become an expert in VA disability claims, okay? And not how to file a disability claim. That's easy. Filing a VA disability claim is one of the easiest things you'll ever do, you guys. You log into eBenefits or va.gov. It's like TurboTax. Do you want to open a new claim? Yes. Do you have supporting evidence? Yes. What condition do you want to claim? Migraines, right? That part is not difficult, right? Filing a VA disability claim is super easy, okay? And you can do it yourself or you can work with an accredited agent for free, okay? Now, what's not so easy is how to prepare and file your own winning VA disability claim with the exact correct strategy for you and your family, making sure that you have all the medical evidence you need to prove your disability's service connection and your symptoms under the law, which ultimately gets you the rating you deserve, okay? That's a dirty secret, by the way, that almost nobody wants to talk about. VA disability claims come down to medical evidence, guys. Medical evidence. That is what we help you do at VA Claims Insider. Okay. Anyway, though, it's the highest honor of my life to be able to do this, because we believe that many of you hearing my voice right now are stuck, frustrated, and underrated. In fact, according to our data, it's about 80% of you. Okay. 80% of you do not have the benefits you deserve by law. That makes me sick, you guys. That makes me angry. And I want to change it. That's why we're here doing this. Okay. Okay, so before we start talking about lifestyle impact claims, chronic pain syndrome with depression and anxiety, predominantly pain, somatic symptom disorder, chronic pain syndrome, whatever you want to call it, they all mean the same thing. Okay, but before we talk about that, I want to share a quick disclaimer with you guys. Okay, hopefully y'all can see my screen. Okay, why am I doing these disclaimers? Okay, well, number one, it's required, as I'm finding out. And I want to always be truthful with you guys. Okay, I want to be open, honest, upfront, and truthful about VA disability claims and veterans benefits. Okay, there's a lot of bad actors out there trying to take advantage of veterans, and I don't ever want to be in that situation. Okay, so I want to open you up and I want to share the truth as we step through this. Okay. Okay. Quick disclaimer, I am not an accredited agent. I'm not a VSO, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not any other entity associated with or recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Okay, we have no affiliation with them whatsoever. We are a private business, okay, focused on education and medical evidence. This video is for educational purposes only and should not be substituted for the medical advice from a doctor or healthcare provider or the legal advice of a VA accredited attorney. Now, the reason I talk about that part as well is I am going to talk about some medical stuff today, okay, but I'm not a doctor, okay, so please do not take it as medical advice, take it as education, okay? Results disclaimers, okay? I am very proud of our results, okay? On average, by the way, a veteran who completes our elite program, and there's a link, by the way, down at the bottom, receives on average a 30% increase in their disability rating, okay? But I can't guarantee that, and the reason I can't guarantee that is I'm not the VA, okay? We're not C&P examiners, we're not VA raters, we don't make the final decision. Now, we can certainly try to help you prepare and file your own claim with the right medical evidence and the right strategy inside of our mastermind group using our resources, okay? But we don't make the final decision. So I can't guarantee that you're going to get a result. I can simply share averages of what other clients have experienced, okay? Results disclaimer, by watching this video using our website or the VA Claims Insider's Mastery or Elite program, those are our two main programs. Okay, we also have a live event coming up in San Antonio in May. Okay, you acknowledge there are completely free services available to assist veterans with VA disability claims for VA benefits. We recommend that you look into those services. Free services, there's national service orgs. Everybody's heard of DAV, VFW, AMVETS, Legion. There's a ton of other ones. There's statewide organizations. Okay, you can also utilize the paid services of VA accredited agents or attorneys. Some of them actually also work for free. Depends on how you get connected with them. Okay, they will help you prepare and file a claim, or you can do that yourself. Okay, utilizing some of our resources, or you cannot use our resources, right? You can do it without us. Utilization of us, VA Claims Insider LLC's website or services, is not required to submit a claim for VA disability benefits. You may achieve a positive VA disability claim outcome with these other free or paid organizations. Testimonials, right? If you're on our website, if you're watching testimonial videos, or you see a Facebook ad, or you see people's real testimonials like on our elite landing page, those are real, okay? Those are real clients. They were not paid by us. They were not influenced by us. In fact, we didn't even ask them to share their success story. They just did, okay? So those testimonials are real, okay? But again, VA Claims Insider makes no guarantee of results by using our website or our services, and your individual results may vary, okay? All right, so let's talk about this. First of all, we are live. Again, Brian Reese here, the VA Claims Insider, Air Force Service Disabled Vet, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. We are talking about chronic pain syndrome today, daily chronic pain, what that means. Chronic pain syndrome, by the way, is also called Somatic Symptom Disorder for VA purposes. And it's also called a VA lifestyle impact claim. Okay. By the way, lifestyle impact claim is a made-up term. It doesn't exist. Some vets have been talking about it in other circles. And so we captured the keyword and we started writing posts about it, because a lifestyle impact claim is ultimately what chronic pain syndrome or what somatic symptom disorder leads to. Impacts in your life, right? Lifestyle impacts. Okay, so it's called the same thing. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. This whole idea behind chronic pain. Now, in general, though, there's two types of chronic pain. There was a landmark case that basically tells vets, hey, wait a minute. If you have chronic pain, you can now tie that and be rated to it if it causes functional impairment or loss, okay, an economic loss. Functional impairment or loss. That's generally not what I'm talking about today, okay? Because pain in and of itself is not eligible for a VA rating on its own. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that in a second. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a Vietnam veteran and you suffer from daily chronic pain. Okay, you can't open up a VA claim and say, severe pain, I suffer from really severe pain, it's an 8 out of 10. I should get a 60% rating for that because my pain is severe. Okay, not going to happen. You're going to get denied every time, because pain by itself is not a rateable disability unless it causes functional impairment or loss, and it can then be tied to another service-connected disability, okay, rated at 0% or higher, or to a rated condition under the law. Okay, you can go to CFR 38, okay, Part 4, the Schedule for Rating Disabilities. That's the governing law of all disabilities. So for example, let's say I have chronic pain with migraines, okay? Chronic pain with headaches, tension headaches, chronic pain with IBS, chronic pain with GERD, chronic pain with plantar fasciitis, okay? Now, the likelihood of them tying the pain level into the rating is 0. Okay? They're going to choose to rate the other condition based upon its severity, okay? But again, that is not the gist of what I'm talking about today. I just wanted you to be aware that chronic pain is now something you need to consider, as it's eligible for VA disability benefits under the law if it causes functional impairment or loss, and it's tied to another condition that is rateable, okay? But what we're talking about today, chronic pain syndrome, this is what the VA used to call it, okay, under DSM-4. DSM-4, we're now in DSM-5, okay? That is the law that governs mental health practices and conditions. I think you can go to psychology.org and check out DSM-5. The VA transitioned to DSM-5 in 2013. Okay, so quite a while ago. Prior to that, all claims that we're referring to today were considered chronic pain syndrome. Chronic pain syndrome was listed as a mental health condition under the law. Okay, so fast forward, here we are, we went into DSM-5. Chronic pain syndrome is no more under the mental health scale. It is now called somatic symptom disorder, okay, sometimes referred to as SSD. Okay, we've got some other posts out there. I've got another YouTube video out there, by the way. That YouTube video talks about somatic symptom disorder, what it is, what it isn't. But I want to talk about this whole idea of chronic pain syndrome, somatic symptom disorder. They're the same things, okay? There was just a classification of how the VA calls it now, which is somatic symptom disorder. So many veterans suffer from chronic pain, usually daily pain. And a lot of times that chronic pain, guys, lasts for months or years, okay? And the crazy thing about somatic symptom disorder, and medically, we just don't know why. Some vets, there's actually no known trigger or cause of that pain, right? There's no provable issue. You can't take an x-ray and go, yeah, I don't think there's any pain there, veteran, because there's no pinching of blah, 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 right? There's no bone damage. There's no cartilage issue. You can't necessarily say that, okay? Now, chronic pain, generally, when we start talking about, okay, well, what is chronic pain? It's usually pain that lasts anywhere between 3+ months, okay? And by the way, it's a huge problem in America. 25 to 35 million folks in America suffer from chronic pain, okay? But the issue with chronic pain, and this is what we're going to talk about today and why we call it a lifestyle impact claim, is because that daily chronic pain that you suffer from, usually from one or more disabilities that you already have service connected, okay? It takes a toll, guys. It hurts you. It diminishes you. It causes impairment in your work, your life, your social functioning. It's hurting you physically and mentally, okay? That is what's at stake here. And by the way, I think that's why it's considered a mental health condition. Okay? It's generally categorized, somatic symptom disorder, as a mental condition because the physical and the mental cause and effect can cause major issues. Occupational and social impairment. Sound familiar? That's the mental health rating scale. Do your conditions, yes or no, do they cause occupational and social impairment, problems in your work, your life, or your social functioning? Okay? And it can stem from almost anything, okay? But the biggest thing that I want to get at right now is how you potentially go about doing this. Okay, so let's talk about that. So we've talked about what it is, right? Chronic pain, it's affecting you, it's affecting your physical health, and or it's affecting your mental health. Okay, so now let's go back to talking about VA requirements. You hear me say these 3 things all the time. You got to have 3 things under the law. Number 1, medical diagnosis of somatic symptom disorder or chronic pain syndrome, okay? Or if you want to call it a lifestyle impact claim. But you got to be diagnosed from a medical professional. Now, typically, it's going to come from a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but that's not required, okay? So number 1, you got to have that diagnosis. Number 2, the chronic pain, the somatic symptom disorder, must have been caused or made worse by your active duty military service or by another service-connected disability rated at 0% or higher. Okay, that's affecting you somehow, some way. And maybe this is where that secondary VA claim comes in, right? You're not necessarily looking for direct service connection for chronic pain syndrome or somatic symptom disorder, but because of the disabilities you suffer from today, those disabilities are causing you to have daily chronic pain that are limiting or affecting your life in a negative way. And those things have usually led to a mental health condition: anxiety, depression, insomnia, anger issues, panic attacks, okay? Sexual dysfunction is a very, very common one of folks who suffer from this disorder, okay? But the whole myriad of symptoms associated with mental health conditions, they might all be present even if you don't have PTSD, okay? Maybe you don't have major depressive disorder. You don't have generalized anxiety disorder. You don't have combat PTSD, okay? Got it. I understand. Not every veteran does. But maybe you suffer from chronic pain, and that chronic pain has caused major issues in your life. You've gained weight. You're worried about it all the time. You've got severe anxiety. Maybe you lost your job over this. Sometimes you're too depressed to get out of bed and go to work, right? Whatever the situation is, again, your VA rating for somatic symptom disorder is going to come down to your level of occupational and social impairment, okay? Just like the general formula, the general schedule for rating mental health conditions, okay? So the nexus, though, is very important. Usually we see somatic symptom disorder as the result of a veteran's other current service-connected disabilities. All right, maybe it's your back, right? Maybe you've got a back condition service-connected at 10 or 30 or 50%. And that back condition causes you daily pain and you're suffering from it. And you can't stop thinking about it. And you've gained weight and it's caused depression and anxiety and this intense focus on the physical symptoms that have led and bled into a mental disorder. That's what this is, guys. Okay. How do you do that? In that example, you would go into your va.gov account and you would want to file somatic symptom disorder secondary to your back, right? Or secondary to your feet, or secondary to your migraines. It can be secondary to anything. Somatic symptom disorder can be secondary to anything. It's all about the linkage. Okay, now again, you're probably going to want to get a medical nexus letter to try to connect those to your service. You're probably going to want to get a psychological evaluation, an independent psychological evaluation, because you need a diagnosis, assuming you have the condition. You need a way to link it. Again, that nexus, so either back to your active duty service or to another service-connected disability, right? You got to have that link. And then the third part, the severity of symptoms. All mental health conditions, it doesn't matter what it is, right? I think right now there's 31 ratable mental health conditions under the law, spanning the full gamut, right? There's major depressive disorder, there's PTSD, there's a few different forms of somatic symptom disorder, okay? And you're likely only going to be rated for one. Sometimes you'll be rated for more than one mental health condition if one can be tied to physical pain symptoms problems and one can be tied to mental, or if the VA rater and the C&P Examiner can differentiate symptoms. Okay, it's unlikely, but it can happen. Okay, chronic pain syndrome, VA lifestyle impact claim, somatic symptom disorder. What I really want to get across, though, is a lot of veterans, you're hearing my voice right now, a lot of people don't even know about this. You don't even realize that you're eligible for this. In fact, you might still be wondering, why the heck am I in daily pain, right? Because now it's limiting my life. Now it's affecting my work. I lost my job, right? And you need help. You're eligible for benefits under the law, okay? But you got to take those steps. Diagnosis, can you clearly tie it to either your service or another disability you're suffering from? Do you have symptoms today? Okay. Again, you guys, you need help. That's what we do. Okay. VA Claims Insider, guys, we're an education-based resource hub. We have a team of experts. We mastermind together live and in community. Okay. Our insider community is amazing. Many of you are on here right now, which is so cool. I love you guys, man. And thank you for everything that you do, sharing this stuff with our fellow vets daily, right? Mastermind, learning from each other so that you can prepare and file your own winning claim. Again, I've got a training video inside of our course, inside of the Elite Experience portal, which you'll get access to today for no upfront fee. That program, guys, that video teaches you in about 2 minutes, click by click. Here's how you go through and do a claim. Okay, the VA has a free video out there on YouTube that teaches you how to file a claim on va.gov. It's actually a pretty good video. But again, I want to just get across, anybody can file a VA disability claim, okay? But do you want to file any old VA disability claim and end up in the endless smoking hole black bureaucracy of the VA fighting for years? Or do you want to get what you deserve the first time? Or do you want to finally overcome a previous denial and go, oh my gosh, this clicked for me today. I'm missing medical evidence. I'm missing a diagnosis. I probably got denied my migraines because I couldn't prove service connection, right? Probably need a nexus letter. That's, again, why I'm out here educating and sharing this stuff with you guys. Okay, if you need help, that's what we do. Okay, we got a 3-step intake. It's free to start. Okay, you can go to VAClaimsInsiderElite.com. You can read more about the program so that you have a full understanding of what we do, how we do it, and then what our fees are for. Okay, what our fees are for. Okay, somatic symptom disorder, SSD, chronic pain. We've talked about it in detail. Okay, a lot of vets suffer from it, especially older vets. A lot of older vets, 60, 65 plus years old, have severe chronic pain. Younger vets can too, right? Especially, I mean, look at this troop right here, right? I mean, big pack on their back. Maybe you're rucked through Iraq, Afghanistan. Training incidents and accidents over time have hurt and caused issues with you, your spine, your feet, your back, your hips. Goodness, I mean, so many vets have pretty significant issues dealing with chronic pain. Okay, so you may be eligible younger, but again, not diagnosis. Do you have a clear nexus? Okay, and do you have symptoms? Because if you can prove those first two, the third one is arguably the most important, because that's what determines your final rating under the law. Okay, again, you need some help. www.VAClaimsInsiderElite.com. You'll see there's a banner across the screen, by the way, if you're watching the recording on YouTube. Please continue to ask your questions, by the way, inside of Facebook. We're on here live right now. If you're watching the recording on YouTube, don't worry, we haven't forgot about you. Ask your question. We'll do our best to answer it. Okay? Okay, guys, I've got a whole bunch of team members on too, which is awesome. Thank you, guys. Our insider team, absolutely amazing. We have almost 200 people, guys, associated with our movement across our 5 brands. It's crazy. I mean, I remember back in 2016 launching this, sharing my story on Facebook and how PTSD nearly killed me. And just talking to you guys and being vulnerable, and people started following. They're like, I have that issue, man. I've dealt with that. And then I started asking you guys, what do you want now? What's next? Right? And that's led into where we're at today. And now we're literally, guys, we've got over 200 disabled veterans, military spouses, and veteran supporters as a part of our movement. I can't do this alone. Goodness, I mean, it takes an army of people who have devoted their lives to serving you to do this at such a high level. And so thank you, guys. Thank you to my team and everything that you guys do. Okay, ask your questions. We're right here right now. I'll hang around here for at least 15 to 20 minutes. You're very welcome, Joe. You mentioned you need a nexus letter. Do you also need a DBQ for chronic pain? Not necessarily, Rudy, if you already have a clear diagnosis. The reason, though, I think why the DBQ, the Disability Benefit Questionnaire, is so important is because you remember I mentioned that somatic symptom disorder is rated under CFR 38, Part 4. It's rated as a mental health condition. So you're probably going to want to have a psychologist or a psychiatrist complete a DBQ, Disability Benefits Questionnaire, for other mental health conditions. Okay, not PTSD. This has nothing to do with PTSD. Other mental health conditions. And the reason DBQs are so powerful and why I advocate for them. On the DBQ, the doctor has to specify your medical diagnosis. Well, what's the first requirement of why claims get denied? Do you or do you not have a medical diagnosis? Okay, so on the DBQ, if you have the condition, the doctor will write it and they'll tie it to some type of an ICD code medically, right? And then typically what they'll also do inside of a DBQ is it asks a whole bunch of questions about your symptoms. How severe are your symptoms of somatic symptom disorder? And what issues are you having? Anxiety, panic, anger, sexual dysfunction, hallucination, delusional thoughts, right? Memory problems, short-term, long-term, right? There's a whole bunch of symptoms. There's a whole list like this inside of the DBQ, okay? And then sometimes what can happen though is, depending on who's doing the DBQ for you, they might put a combined nexus statement inside of that DBQ, right? So you don't necessarily need a standalone nexus letter, okay? That can be combined, right? It can be, we call it a 2-in-1, right? It can be a 2-in-1 DBQ, okay? So that's my recommendation, Rudy. The biggest thing is you got to pick up the phone and call mental health, or you need a psych eval, right? I mean, ultimately, we want vets as well to get better, right? We don't want you to struggle and fight these battles alone. Goodness, I mean, veteran suicide. I mean, why do you think so many veterans are killing themselves? Well, I think it's a lot of factors, but I think a few of them are, they're so dang sick and frustrated of trying to fight these battles alone that you just end it. I mean, and I'm not trying to be morbid, guys. I'm just trying to be real. Veteran suicide is a huge issue, and we're coming at it, right? We've launched some initiatives to stop military suicide, and we're going to keep funding those things because it's important that we get raw and real and we talk about it and we say, you know what? It's okay that you've thought about killing yourself. I have. I bet almost everybody in this call has at one time or another thought, you know, maybe the world would be better off without me, right? And that's a sad and sobering reality, guys, but it's real, which is why we're talking about it, which is why we talk all the time, live and in community in our mastermind. I mean, I'm remembering an incident. One of our members posted inside of our mastermind group. It's our live 24/7. We serve and support each other. We talk, we share videos, all kinds of stuff, right? Friday Night Lives. A vet posted early one morning, like, I think I'm going to end it, right? I'm going to kill myself. And I just, you know, anybody there? Dude, I got up, like the community just rallied around this guy, this fellow vet, just rallied around, like, praying for you. We love you. You know, your life matters. We need you. And I ended up jumping on a phone call with this veteran. I'm not telling you this story because I think I'm cool or I don't, right? I ended up on this phone call at 6 a.m. and talked to this fellow veteran for over an hour just to hear him out, just to be there for him. Because so many of us suffer alone. We suffer alone in silence. We think we're the only one who's having these thoughts, right? We think we're the only ones abusing drugs. We think we're the only ones drinking, you know, half a bottle of Jack at 10 a.m, right? Been there, okay? We're here for you guys, and this is about life change. Yeah, we want to help you with our resources to get you the rating and compensation you deserve, but it's bigger than that. This is about life change for you and your families, all right? And maybe this message, maybe this is speaking to you right now, and it's the reason why you're not going to take your own life, because your life matters. We need you, okay? We need you. There's a reason God put you here, okay? I love you guys. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Hope so many people are asking questions. I'm going to jump down to as soon as I can. Is it worth to add these? Not to mention my hands shake. Oh my goodness. Rated 100%. Yeah. Diabetes, migraines. So Boris, one thing you might want to think about is if you're already at 100%, yeah, I mean, you may want to go for an increase, right? Because maybe there's some SMC stuff there for housebound for being 100%. You know, maybe you're trying to pursue P&T status, permanent and total. So a lot of vets who are at 100% already, or maybe you're 100% IU, individual unemployability, but you want to get to P&T, right? Permanent and total, so the VA can never reduce your rating. And you're wondering how to do that. So Boris, you would literally just, I mean, you can call your VSO or your agent or your attorney or whoever you're working with, or you can do it yourself, right? You can log in, go to va.gov, you can log in. And once you're there, open up a new claim, right? Just follow the prompts and say, you know, yep, I want to open a claim. I want to file for an increase, or I want to add new disabilities, right? And then you could add your diabetes, you could add your migraines. I think you were trying to say fibromyalgia, but that's how you would add those. Okay. I'm a mastery member and I don't have a coach. I need to talk to somebody ASAP. Okay. I think it's GJ. So Mastery is a self-paced program. Okay, it's an online course, which also gets you access to the medical team. Okay, so I think Rochelle Ware is on here. Rochelle, if you could help GJ, please, to get connected, I appreciate that, so that he can get his psych eval done. Okay. Mastermind Facebook page, 24/7 live, 365. That's where all the magic happens, man. But it's members only, right? It's a members only. It's a proprietary resource to us. You've got to be a member. Again, you want to join, you can start free. VA Claims InsiderElite.com. Okay. Where can I find information about aid and attendance? So Ernie, there's some information out there. I think we've written about aid and attendance. We really don't get involved in that at all. We're specific on the compensation side. Aid and attendance sort of dovetails into pensions. We don't really do anything with VA pension either, right? So, but aid and attendance is another benefit that you could apply for, you might be eligible for, if, because of your service-connected disabilities, you require the aid and attendance of another person. Okay, so you're eligible to receive some increased compensation. So, I mean, Ernie, honestly, probably the best advice I have for you is just go to Google and type, you know, how to apply for aid and attendance. There's a form you can fill out to do that. Okay. If you have a service certificate, can you receive SMC? Yeah, you can receive special. So SMC stands for Special Monthly Compensation. Okay, it's a completely separate category, and it can be paid on top of any VA disability compensation benefits you're already receiving. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let's say you're rated at 100% right now, and you know you're getting $3,000 a month. If you also believe, well, wait a minute, I've got, you know, major depressive disorder rated at 70%, and that major depressive disorder, I'm taking all these meds, and I now have erectile dysfunction, right? Or female sexual arousal disorder, if you're female. That's a special monthly compensation category called SMCK, okay, loss or use of a creative organ. And you're eligible to receive an additional stipend on top of what you're already getting, all right, if you suffer from loss or use of a creative organ, SMCK. I don't have the exact rate, but I know it's over $100 extra that you can get per month, okay? And yeah, you can open up a new claim and file for erectile dysfunction or female sexual arousal disorder, okay? Yes, sir. Med team can help. Okay, just scrolling through some stuff here. VA Claims Insider has the world's best coaches and best resources, bar none. Awesome. I agree, but my opinion's probably biased. So again, ask around. And by the way, there's no pressure for you to join our programs. You've got 1,000,001 resources available to help you with this stuff. We're just one option, okay? Obviously, we think we're the best, but I don't want you to just listen to me. I want you to go do your research. Go Google us. Go read our reviews. Read our Better Business Bureau profile, right? I want you guys to feel comfortable about it, and I want you to make the right decision for you and your families, okay? Which are growing their teams. You're part of the teams. What happens if I go for an increase and during C&P, the doctor says you were misdiagnosed? So Enrique, it's hard to say exactly what the end result of that will be. If it's a C&P examiner doing their job, hopefully they'll make or confirm a different diagnosis, right? If you were misdiagnosed with something, they're like, hey, you know, I understand what your records say. I don't think you have this, right? I don't think you have tinnitus. I think you've got severe migraines, right? Or whatever. I'm just making something up, whatever the situation is. It's interesting though, that a C&P doctor would make that kind of a comment when they've never treated you, right? They don't have, a C&P examiner doesn't have full treatment history with you. They're looking at you on one specific day that's a snapshot in time. Now, hopefully they've reviewed your records, but it's a little disturbing that a C&P examiner would tell you at the exam that they think you were misdiagnosed. I think you need to prepare for that ending up being unfavorable to you. In fact, you may want to pick up the phone when we're done here today and call 1-800-827-1000 and speak to a rep and just be like, hey, this is super awkward and uncomfortable. I want a new C&P exam. This is how it went down. That's an option there. What's up, Matty Mansell? Good to see you, brother. I was deployed to Afghanistan with Matt. He was my chief, man. He was a senior at the time and then got promoted to chief, which was awesome. Super cool, brother. I'm glad you're with us. Carlos, do any of the doctors accept insurance? Unfortunately, they do not. Okay. None of the doctors accept private insurance. It's a mess, number one. Number two, there's all sorts of things that can trip people up regarding insurance in this area. And frankly, the independent medical providers, they don't want to deal with it. And I don't blame them. So unfortunately, they don't take insurance. But Carlos, you don't need to use our vetted independent medical providers. Okay. You can go out and get your own doctor, or you could potentially use your own private insurance to pay for that with somebody else. Okay. But the VA Claims Insider affiliated network of doctors do not accept insurance. Okay. Why does vet to vet bash you guys? I'll talk about this just for a second, Armando. I think it's really just misinformation more than anything. A lot of vets, and I get it, by the way, veterans are the ultimate skeptics. I know, okay, because I am one. And I think there's so much anger and hatred that veterans harbor around this process that they see somebody like me talk about, you know, how it's easy, or how we help make it simple, or, you know, use our website, Military Disability Made Easy. It makes the process simple. And their first comment, you know, or response to that is BS, right? BS. This process is not simple. This process is hard. It's complicated. I've been fighting for years, blah, blah, blah. The mental health stuff goes off. Somebody starts getting angry. They take to the keyboard and they start typing something they wouldn't normally type in person. All right. I think that's where a lot of the anger and hatred comes from, is just either a pure misunderstanding of who we are and what we do and why we do it, or they're so frustrated themselves that they see an ad or whatever and they just get pissed off, right? I get it. I understand. And I'll tell you what we do, right? I don't hate our haters. I love our haters, man. In fact, many of our clients are former haters, right? People who reach out and be like, you know, you're BS, or I think you're a scam, or whatever. And I'll just respond in love and say, you know, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I can promise you not. We're a legitimate business. We've got over 200 folks. We've got expert educational resources. You can watch our stuff on YouTube, go read our reviews. But I'm not here to change your mind, right? You've got options. We are not your only option, right? And another thing I learned a long time ago, Armando, is when the haters hate, you've arrived. Okay. You know what? That tells me we're making a huge splash and we're making a huge difference in your lives because people are hating. right? Haters gonna hate, right? You want to know if you've arrived? Go and see if you have haters, because I promise you'll have them. So I think that's part of it as well. I fully acknowledge there's some folks who do not like us, right? There's some accredited attorneys who do not like us. there's nothing I can do about that, right? We say very clearly we're not accredited. We say very clearly we do not assist veterans in the preparation, presentation, or prosecution of claims. We don't have power of attorney, right? We're not affiliated with the VA. Here's the resources we provide. And people are just jealous, man. People are jealous of success. And we've had a lot of it. We've had a lot of it. Why are we successful? Because of you, because of our team, because of our resources. Because guess what, guys? I'm going to get real for a second. These garbage Facebook groups, some of these other garbage accredited people who say they're the only ones who know anything about disability claims, they try to overcomplicate the piss out of the process. All we've done is we've simplified it down to its bare elements. We have simplified the often confusing and complicated disability claims process down into its most essential elements: medical evidence, compensation and pension exam preparation. That's it, right? And there's people out there who are trying to sell you their 300-page digital download for one claim. It's a bunch of garbage. It's absolute garbage. And the unfortunate thing is it's going to leave you even more confused than before you started, okay? Why do you think I do 20 to 40-minute videos where I talk in very simplistic terms about a topic, where I dive right at 3 important things you must satisfy and fulfill, right? Where I talk about medical evidence. I talk about C&P exams, because that's what you really need to know. You don't need a 200 or 300-page digital download to tell you about PTSD or sleep apnea. It's just going to confuse the hell out of you and you're going to get nowhere. Why do you think I don't have any resources like that? Because that's not what you need. These other people are selling you what you think you need, what you want. That isn't what you need, which is why we founded VA Claims Insider. And again, let the haters hate. We love them. We pray for them. I still support many of their organizations, even after the attacks. But let the haters hate, right? They ain't going to stop us. We're going to keep doing our thing. Here's an example. Right after, why does blah, blah, blah bash you guys? You guys helped me get my new rating increase in less than 45 days. How? Medical evidence. How? The actual resource you need that will help you. That's what we do, guys. Again, VAClaimsinsiderelite.com. We've also got our free blog, VAClaimsinsider/blog. Some amazing resources out there. It's all free. Our whole YouTube channel's free, right? We've got double the number of subscribers of anybody else. Why do you think? Why do you think we have twice as many followers as anybody else? I'll let you answer that question. Ooh. Rusty says, it's all right to be biased, Brian, because the truth is the truth, and it's preached here in VACI. Patrick asked a question here about alcoholism. Yeah, so this is a tricky one. I'm gonna talk about this carefully, okay? A lot of veterans have a mental health condition that might say something like with alcohol use disorder in full sustained remission, okay? Or major depressive disorder with alcohol dependence, or alcohol use, disorder, okay? I've also seen folks who've got drug issues, okay, or tobacco use, okay? You've got to be very careful in your disability claim strategy that you don't let the VA go down this path of it's your own fault, okay? The veteran's own willful misconduct. is the reason why you've got lung cancer. You smoke cigarettes, that's why you have lung cancer. That claim's going to get denied every day, all day long, and they're going to say it's the veteran's own willful misconduct. Same is true with alcoholism, okay? If the VA says, no, the reason why you have PTSD, the reason why you've got severe anxiety is because you're an alcoholic. The alcohol caused the mental health condition. They're going to deny the claim. Okay, now we know that's bull crap. Alcohol, drugs, tobacco, gambling, sex, destroying your life are usually coping mechanisms associated with mental health, right? But you've got to be clear about those. And what I would do is just tell your story. Write a personal statement. VA form 21-4138, write your personal statement and document exactly what the issue is. Okay, that's another just total garbage misnomer. There's clowns out there who say, don't use the VA form 21-4138 because it's hurting your claim. It's BS. It's a total lie. The VA form 21-4138, the statement in support of a claim, is still the most preferred way for you to communicate with the VA raters. Okay, that's the truth. Again, that's what we share here. The truth. Brian, you guys are the best. Went with you. Went from 30 to 100% in 80 days. Okay, again, these are not paid testimonials. These are real people on here live right now, fellow veterans, sharing. Hey, Scott. Thank you, Brian. We hear you. Hey, Brian, I'm diagnosed with PTSD, but was just denied. I was told not service-connected. Can I submit a claim for SSD? That's Major Johnson. Yes, you absolutely can, right? So regardless of how many times you've been denied, you can always either fight that denial if you're within the 12-month appeal, or you can just open up a new claim and go for something different, right? Maybe you were misdiagnosed for PTSD. Maybe you have a very weak PTSD stressor. All right, what triggered or caused your PTSD? Or maybe that couldn't be proven back to your service. So they denied the claim and said, we couldn't verify the PTSD stressor, right? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know the details of your case, but it's possible that, maybe you do or you don't have PTSD, but you probably have other stuff going on too. Major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, chronic pain syndrome, somatic symptom disorder. Of course, yeah, you absolutely can go back and do an SSD claim after a PTSD denial, okay? Hence the reason I signed up with you guys. I see you, Brian. Keep it up. Eddie Mansell, what's up, brother? Man, I remember when our desks were right next to each other, man. I could, literally, I can still picture you sitting there in Afghanistan. Yeah, good advice. So again, I talk about this concept of a mastermind, right? What is a mastermind? It's a group of like-minded individuals, and the entire concept is they serve and support each other, okay? And the sum of everybody is better than anyone on their own, okay? The disciples, right, were a mastermind around Jesus, a group of trusted advisors, a peer network who served and supported each other. You've heard of business masterminds, right? Business leaders who get together, they talk about issues that are happening at their workplace with a group of trusted advisors. And the whole idea is you can accelerate your results because of the group, right? Rather than struggling through something on your own, you can lean on the collective knowledge and wisdom of the group. That's what a mastermind is. That's what the VA Claims Insider Mastermind is, okay? Now, I'm not talking about a Facebook group. There are some garbage groups out there. Hundreds of thousands of people. That's not a mastermind, okay? That's called a schmaz fest. That's called a gong show. That's called a gaggle of crap. That's called a recipe for disaster, okay? That's not a mastermind. if I had a DBQ done by one of the vetted independent medical professionals, will the C&P examiner have that? They should, Paul. They should, if you filed it in support of your claim, right? You either uploaded it to ebenefitsva.gov or you faxed it in, okay? Now, when I say should, you can always ask them, hey, I already had a DBQ with this. Did you have a chance to review it, right? You could ask them for that if you can. What's up, DP? Selling snake oil. I'm not going to address that here live, but yeah, there were some unfortunate comments made. But you know what, man? I still love the haters. I do, and I pray for them. I pray for them. Okay. Scott, BACI rocks. You guys are amazing, man. Okay, what other questions can I answer here? I know we're already into the top of the next hour here. Hey, Robin. 80% now, hoping for SSD to get to 100% P&T. Very possible, right? Somatic symptom disorder, which we talked about today, is a high-value claim. A high-value claim is what we define as a disability condition with a high likelihood of getting rated at 30% or higher on its own. Okay, high value claim. All mental health claims fall in that. In fact, here's a little tidbit. We analyzed 4.7 million veterans with a VA disability rating for PTSD. Okay, actually it was anyone with a mental health condition. The average mental health rating is 70%. That's high. That was actually higher than I thought it would be. I figured it would be 50, but it was 70. Yeah, very good question talking about mental health claims. Do all mental health claims require a clear stressor? No. Only post-traumatic stress disorder claims have the stressor verification process, okay? And there's a separate VA form that you got to fill out to verify the stressor. If you can't verify the stressor, but you still have another mental health condition, you might want to look at another disability or condition, okay? Age 5 years. Yeah. Talking about back pay. In your firm, would you recommend? Mike, yeah, so we have nothing to do with like Social Security benefits or anything. I don't have any company off the top of my brain right now, but I can tell you where we're going. Here's a little sneak peek for you, right? We are becoming the most trusted name in educational resources for veterans, okay? VA Claims Insider just happens to be one brand under that umbrella that focuses on your disability claims. But I can tell you where this is going. We're going in all kinds of directions to help improve the lives of veterans and their families, okay? That's where we're going. Not to get you too excited. Okay, I'll answer one more question here. Greg says, I have a C&P for obstructive sleep apnea secondary to my service-connected ankle today. Any last-minute tips? Okay. Yes, this is very important for you. Did you or did you not have a nexus letter connecting those two? Because the C&P Examiner, right, there's no medical etiology, there's no cause and effect, there's no medical link anywhere between an ankle causing or making obstructive sleep apnea worse, right? It certainly would not have a direct correlation. So what you're looking at is this aggravation piece, right? And what is the interim link? Is it weight gain? Is it side effects of medication that caused a change in the throat, in the muscles that relaxed, which led to aggravation of OSA, right? I don't know. But I think you need to be very clear, Greg, when you walk in, when you're talking to that examiner, I would be darn clear with them what you mean by OSA secondary to your service-connected ankle. Because if that's not clearly explained, I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to write in their report, OSA is less likely due to service, less than 50% chance. Why? Well, I'm a doctor and I can't find any linkage between OSA and your ankle. You're right, because there isn't any, unless it's an aggravation, or it's an interim link to weight gain, or it's something linked to medication, or it's something that caused changes that led to the OSA, okay, on an aggravation basis. So I would try to be very, very clear about that. John got approved for SSD. Been 10% PTSD for years. Yeah, so what I would do, Greg, I've also been seeing a counselor, really bothersome. So 10% PTSD is very low, okay? And I'm not saying one way or another whether you should be higher or not, but the 10% criteria for mental health is unbelievably low, right? It basically states you have a diagnosis of PTSD, but your symptoms either don't interfere with occupational and social impairment, or it can be controlled with medication, okay? So again, I live with this, so I know what happens to me, right? But I'm probably different than you. So I would just be thinking about, what are your symptoms, right? Is that 10% rating, is that really an accurate picture of your symptoms, or are they worse, right? And go look at, you can Google CFR Title 38 Part 4, the Schedule for Rating Disabilities, open up the law, Control F, search by, mental, whatever, go down to the mental disorders category, go look at the scale. Actually, you know what, Greg? I got a better tip for you. Anybody with PTSD, you can go to Google and type PTSD rating scale, okay? PTSD rating scale. I think we're the first hit. We're the featured snippet on Google. I explain all of the different symptoms from 0 to 100% for mental health in detail, okay? I would go look at that. And if you think you qualify for an increase, you've already got a diagnosis, you're already service connected. All you need is a DBQ for the increase. Pretty simple. No nexus letter. He did have a diagnosed sleep study. I'm looking at weight gain. So Greg, that's going to be tricky for you, brother. Again, I'm going to be praying, but the issue with secondary service connection is there still needs to be a medical linkage between the two, right? Which is the sleep apnea and the ankle, right? So the interim link is the weight gain, but there still needs to be a medical connection between those two. And I'm not saying you did or didn't make that case, but just be very clear about that. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Carol, okay, I'll answer one more. I lied, I'll answer one more. Brian, can you help with reasonable accommodations, or do you know who could help me? I cannot, I'm not a doctor, but we have a couple independent providers in our referral network, Carol, who can provide reasonable accommodation letters. Okay, they do those for folks. Of course, they'll need to do an exam with you. They'll need to look at your medical records and make sure that you're eligible. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, by the way. I know the reasonable accommodation stuff can be tough. I know because I went through one. Okay, I love you guys. Again, if you need help, if you're stuck, you're frustrated, you're underrated, you're tired of fighting this alone, you want access to expert resources, you know you need more medical evidence, and you can't get that from your own doctors or from the VA doctors, join Elite. Okay, you can start right now for free. It's a free 3-step intake to start. Again, guys, go to VA Claims, InsiderElite.com. Okay? All right. Keep asking your questions. Again, Brian Reese, Air Force Disabled Vet. I'm out from Austin, Texas. I love you guys. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and we'll talk to you again next week. Okay? Love you guys.